Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Willie's Fish Shop, where we have fresh bait to eat and delicious soup to fish with. In today's video, we will be going over all the legendary fish that are tucked away in Stardew Valley. With the ability to only catch each of the 5 legendaries one time per save file, it's definitely one of the harder things to do. Each fish becomes available with higher level fishing skills, 10 of course being the max, and required to catch the legend, which is a glorified and probably self-proclaimed king bass of the mountain lake, or something like that. The only fish that doesn't have a level requirement to catch is the Mutant Carp, but you do need access to the sewers via donating enough items to the museum. Before we get started, I'd just like to say that I can't get enough of your guys' feedback and continued support. If you haven't, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you're enjoying my videos or getting good info from any of my guides or series. Also, before we get into it, I'd like to say these are all legendary fish and they are all very hard to catch compared to the rest of the fish in Stardew Valley. So don't be discouraged if you can't catch one of those beauties on the first try. And with that being said, let's go. To start, I'll give you a good base to start with. You'll need level 10 fishing as soon as possible. Even if you don't need level 10 to catch all the fish, you will need level 10 for the efficiency, i.e. bigger fishing bar and better equipment. Early game, you can get to the trout soup, which requires 0 levels of fishing to purchase, which is great for a few of those legendary bad boys. Later on, I recommend seafoam pudding or lobster bisque. That, coupled with level 10 fishing, an iridium rod, and a cork bobber, these fish will be turned into expensive sushi in no time at all. Easiest fish to access first would have to be the crimson fish. Reason being is that summer is the month in which this fish is catchable, but also the legend fish requires level 10 and maxed out equipment to even have a chance there in spring, so it is kind of harder to acquire early on in game. The crimson fish also has a bit of a smoother pattern when it comes to catching it. It's a bit of a random go, but with a high enough fishing level, a decent bobber, she's not the hardest fish to catch by any means. Sometimes I catch less catfish, to be honest. This fish is accessible on the beach. Look for the E-stocks, not in the second beach section, but just past Willie's shop following the coastline, just past the bridge that costs 300 wood to access. I will add that all these fish can be caught at any time of day. This fish also requires level 5, which shouldn't be too bad to acquire by summer of any year, so get to fishing. By far the easiest fish to catch would be the angler. It has a smoother swim pattern and can be accessed north of Jojo Mart with level 3 fishing. I would still try and max out all equipment as well as your fishing level as soon as possible though. It helps tremendously. Make sure you're fishing from the wooden plank bridge in fall and casting northward. Set yourself up with the aforementioned items and food and cast away.
The air got to it. The air got to it!
Again, this fish is the easiest to catch, but don't be surprised if you lose a couple, or 20. Oops. The next fish up is the Glacier fish. Make sure you're bundled up before you go out and catch this fish because winter is the only month you can catch it. Following the south end of the Arrowhead Island in Cindersnap, just south of Marnie's Ranch, is the pristine spot to catch this cold one while knocking back some cold ones, or in my case the warm Jojicola. It requires level 6 fishing and a whole lot of patience because in my opinion this fish is the second hardest to catch. It's got a decently wild pattern that's pretty much unpredictable. Set up as best you can with equipment and hold on tight because we're in for a bumpy ride. The next fish is going to be the Mutant Carp. I've mentioned before that you need to access the sewers because the only place you can catch this wild thing is the green, goopy, wannabe water that is in the sewers. There is no level requirement for this fish. I repeat, no level requirement. It is recommended, however, that you again equip yourself as best you can and sharpen your hook. This fish, in my opinion, is not the hardest catch, but the most enraging. It is very fast and fairly unpredictable. The reason it's further down the list is because opening up the sewer can be a lengthy task. This fish, luckily enough, can be caught in any season though. I guess to Krobus and these fish, there are no seasons. Last but certainly never least would be the legend, aka just a really big bass with a crown or big fin, I'm not sure which. This fish is easily the hardest to catch. It's got a mixed pattern with the highest difficulty of any fish. With that, it also has the highest experience, but sadly, you can only catch one, just like the other fish. Arm yourself to the teeth and then go ahead and head over to the mountain lake in any spring day, in any year, as long as you haven't caught one prior. This is the only fish that requires level 10 fishing to catch, so it's the last one on the list based on difficulty and level requirement. Also, if you say you have level 6 skill for fishing and you bump that up with the seafoam pudding and you have level 10, you can now catch this bass, and that goes for any other legendary fish in Stardew Valley. On top of all of that though, you have to catch this fish in the rain. Easiest thing to do is wait for year 2 and set some rain totems before your next day. Repeat this until you've caught that beast. Again, patience is key. These fish don't want to be caught. They're legends after all, so don't get too discouraged if you fail the first few times. All in all, it would be the best to say that level 10 fishing is a must. The iridium rod is a need and the bobbers are a plus. Mix it with a good old fishing meal that warms the toes and enlightens the soul, and you've got it made. But that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and share if you can. Lots more to come during the quarantine days, and I do apologize for the lack of Twitch streams lately. Things have been a little too hectic for me, and it's hard for me to even sit still longer than an hour or two. I am currently looking after some family members that are more at risk during these crazy times, but bear with me. I'll let you guys know when I can make a return as soon as I know. With that being said, you know what it is. Stay lit, stay up, and stay high, Jedi. Peace.